Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Netherwood TV on Friday the 24th of November. I'm Ep11 and this is Toni Wright and we're both prefects.
In today's episode we'll be finding out what happened on Drop Down Day the other week.
We will also find out the total money we raised for children in need.
Also we'll be finding out what Year 9's got up to as part of their live stream in English.
As well as the general school news and recommended read.
Now let's speak to Mrs Bird, the school's career advisor, about what happened on Drop Down Day.
On Friday the 10th of November, we had a drop-down day for all students. They were all off timetable and took part in some inspiring activities to raise aspirations and develop life skills. They all had a specific focus. Year 7's was on self-awareness, team building and democracy. Year 8 was all about their place in the world. Year 10's was skills for life and Year 11's was post-16 readiness. We had various visitors that came in to support the day with talks and workshops. Grace Clough, a GB Paralympian gold medalist, came in and did some inspiring talks with Year 7, 8 and Year 10. Barnsley Football Club did some fun team building events and activities and they supported Years 7 and 10. St John's Ambulance taught our Year 10s basic first aid. And we had our Year 9 supported by Daniel Mulcahy, who was an ex-Woolwell student, and he also has just graduated in civil engineering. Keepmoat Construction also supported that day, and Melissa Gallimore from Barnsley Construction Village. Our Year 11 students were supported by Job Centre Plus and our local colleges in putting together their CVs and preparing for interviews for the future. And local employers NPS and Thomas Cook brought in some of our ex-students who are now apprentices with them, and they told about their journey from school into gaining their apprenticeships. We also had groups of Year 10 and 11 who went to university visits to explore higher education opportunities. They went to York St John and University of Sheffield.
Thanks for that, Mrs Bird.
Now we are going over to English to speak to Mrs Hedley about the live streaming event that happened in English department round last week.
Hi everybody, Mrs Hedley here from English. Just filling in what's been happening. With Year 9 last week, on Thursday, we were able to watch a live streaming of Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare, performed by the Royal Shakespeare Company. And it was fab. It's full of blood and gore and goodness me, it's fabulous. And Year 9 did brilliantly. What was really exciting is that this broadcast went out all over the country, and there was a little map and there were dots of where we all were. There were also photographs from schools, and luckily, well, not luckily necessarily, but brilliantly, Mrs Watkins' class actually got on the broadcast, so that was really, really good. There was a big cheer when that happened. I hope Year 9 enjoyed it. We certainly did. There was lots of popcorn, crisps, and generally a good time was had by all.
Now on to this week's recommended read of the week.
Thank you to Mrs Smith for the last week's recommendation. Now this week's recommendation is from a special visitor.
Let's take a look at what they're recommending.
Hello, it's Miss Allen and baby Lucas, and we're doing recommended read this week. We're recommending to read as you are right from birth, because it's really good for development, and we're reading a book at the moment called Skip Hop, and it's part of a scheme, the Dolly Parton scheme, and what will happen is we will get a book every month. It's age and gender appropriate, and it will last all the way up until your baby is 5 years old. So we'll be reading each night, and that's what we're doing, and we're enjoying that time together. So keep reading, kids, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.
Last Friday, Netherwood took part in a non-uniform day to raise money for children in need. Thank you to everyone who donated. We raised £1,081. That's it for this week. We will be back next Friday at 10:25 a.m. with another episode of Netherwood TV.
We will find out what's been happening this week as a number of visits have taken place, as well as the launch of the Big Barnsley Challenge.
See you next Friday at the usual time.